Welcome everybody to the September CRM call. So excited to have you all here. We have a couple of great speakers today and then some content from your evangelists, myself, Vandana and Charles, that we'll kick off with as well. Before we do that, we're just gradually working our way through introducing you to members of our team because there's so many members that contribute to this call, to community efforts in general on the Microsoft side. So Dwayne, I'd love you to introduce yourself. And I'm not sure, is Alistair on the call? Oh, he is. Yeah, Alistair. Perfect. So if you two could just give a little introduction to yourselves and the roles that you play, that would be awesome.
Trying to unmute myself here. Come on. Oh, my Lord, it's not coming off.
We can hear you.
You're
good.
Muted.
Okay, fantastic. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Dwayne. I am your community social person. So everything you do on LinkedIn and YouTube that is D365 focus, that's where I spend all my time, helping create content for that, as well as overseeing the D365 IT Pro blog that we share frequently, sharing customer stories and coordinating calls like this. So I'm based in sunny California. I was born in California. I lived most of my life in Seattle. I've worked for Microsoft off and on. I worked for Disney for a number of years. I also get to create content and illustrations and stuff like that. So I have a lot of fun, and I'm so excited to have so many of you on this call again with us. We love our community, and we love the interactions, and I love what I get to see every single day working with you, sharing stuff with you, and seeing your responses on our social media channels. So thank you for being so exciting. Thank you for being interactive, and welcome to the call.
Thanks, Dwayne. Alistair, your go.
Everything he just said, but slightly more morosely. I'm originally from England. I live in California. I handle the Power Platform community, social media side of things. So the LinkedIn channel. I help promote the Power Platform conference in Vegas, but also some of the smaller conferences that go on. I curate the newsletter that goes out every month, and I've been working in the Power Platform community, helping do social media promotion for about 2 years now, and it's good because the community itself. I've worked in social media for about 10 years, and the Power Platform community is without question the best kind of social media platform I've worked in. And when I took over the Power Platform LinkedIn channel, we only had 400 followers, and then we started promoting it, and we're just about to hit 50,000 in 2 years. So I'd love to say that was all thanks to me, but it wasn't. It was via the community and how invigorated they are for getting involved in stuff, and it's just a brilliant. It's been unbelievable to be a part of and see it grow the way it does, and long may it continue.
Woohoo! Thanks, Alistair. Okay, so a few things that we want to cover before we get into the speakers, and I actually realized one of the most important things is missing on here, so we'll cover that now. We are launching our ERP community call next week, so it will be same time as this call, but whereas this is the first Wednesday of every month, it will be the second Wednesday of every month. So same as how you registered for this, there's an event page. Dwayne, would you mind dropping that into the chat, please? So anyone on the call who is focused on ERP as well, please feel free to join us. We'll be following the same format, but we'll see how that develops to make sure it works for our attendees. Okay, perfect. So we have a few things we want to cover before we hear from Vivian and Aaron. So Charles, do you want to start by covering digital badges and PPCC?
Yes, thank you, Lydia. Next slide.
Yeah.
All right, so the Power Platform Conference is going to be coming up in a few short weeks, September 18th to 20th, with some workshops on September 16th, 17th, and 21st. So I know that there are quite a number of people on the Dynamics community side who are planning to go to the Power Platform Conference. So if you are, we have a couple of really nice things for you as offerings. One of them is we have a community lounge where we are going to have lots of great swag and engagement. It'll also be an opportunity to meet the community team. So if you wanted to meet us in person, give us your opinion on the platform or anything else you have in mind, we will all be there. We are also going to have a super user panel. So if you are a super user, this is an opportunity for you to have a little bit of time to showcase your skills and your knowledge. So if you are interested in becoming part of the super user panel, think of it as a live version of what you typically do on the community site. Someone comes in, they have a question, right? You help work through the answer, and because it's going to be simulcast with the rest of the community platform, you're actually going to get credit for it as well. So it's going to be a fun little experimental thing that we're planning on doing. So if you want to be part of it, we have a link over on the bottom where you'd be able to sign up for it. And we are also taking volunteers in general for the conference. So things like handing out swag, registering new community members. One of the big goals that we have is to continue growing the community. We want to make the community as strong and vibrant as possible. And we do that by continuing to grow the community, continuing to create new super users, and just continuing to build everything that we do and everything that we are. So if you are interested in any of those things, there is a link on the bottom, the aka.ms ppcc_volunteer. Next slide. Now, we have things for you. Should you decide to sign up for any of the slots, or even if you're planning on going, we have a number of types of swag that we have. We have digital swag, so we're going to make that available over the next couple of days to say that you are going to the Power Platform Conference. So you can put that on LinkedIn, you can put it on your Twitter, you can put it on any of your socials that you like. If you are going to be an MVP speaker, because that's another slot that we have available. If you are an MVP, you're planning on coming to the Power Platform Conference, and you want to take a half an hour, the lounge will also allow you to add the topic of your choosing for a half-hour slot, and I think we still have a few available. So if you are going to be a speaker, either as a super user or an MVP speaker, we have a special badge for you as well that's digital. We also have a number of exclusive digital badges and pins that we are in the midst of producing that will be dependent on whether or not you are an MVP, a super user, or a super user in training. That is to say, everyone else, because we hope everyone aspires to be a super user. And if digital isn't enough, we also have really cool physical swag, like this exclusive Power Platform coffee mug, among other things that we are going to just keep so that you can see for yourself as a surprise when you get there.
Awesome.
Next slide.
Next slide. Okay, perfect.
Great. And if that's not enough, if you do volunteer, if you are one of the first 45 volunteers, you will be invited to an exclusive volunteer appreciation event at Topgolf. And that'll be Wednesday the 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. And again, it'll be an opportunity to play golf or watch other people play golf if you're me. We also have lots of hors d'oeuvres, little snacks, and a really nice networking event overall. So lots of incentive. So hurry up and volunteer. Only 45 slots available for that. And next slide.
There we go.
So if you didn't want to volunteer, that is the link for it. And I'm going to add the link to the chat as well. So you can go ahead and volunteer.
Awesome.
Great.
Can you see that we've had a couple of messages in the chat saying people submitted and signed up but didn't hear back?
Yes, that's because we are finalizing the schedule. So we should have the finalized schedule available. But yes, we're tracking all of you.
Okay, perfect. Anything else to cover, or should we go back to the list?
No, I think that's everything.
Awesome. Thanks, Charles. Okay, a couple of things from me. The business applications launch event is going live on October 29th. This is a call, if you're not familiar, it's a call we do twice yearly to share with you the latest features that are coming as part of the product. So if you want to sign up, we'll put the event link in the chat, and it's basically a virtual broadcast lasting about 60 minutes for you to join us on October 29th. V, should we talk a little bit about subscribing to YouTube and the newsletters? Do you want to cover that?
Yes. So for all of you here, I have kind of put a list of everything that we cover. We would love for you to take a few minutes to make sure you are subscribed to them so you're not missing out on announcements that we make. But in addition to that, we want to do a lot more with the community. So we want to hear from you. We want to make sure that we are highlighting you guys. So if you have, as we grow, we want to have ways to highlight community members who are doing a lot in the community. So if you have someone in mind and want to nominate, by the next call, we'll have an official form for it. But for now, if you do have someone in mind or organizations you have in mind that we should highlight, send them over to us and then we will reach out to you.
Awesome. Thanks, V. We actually already have the forms live, but I don't think people like filling them in very much. So if you have anyone who you think should be nominated, a speaker you'd like to hear from, drop their name in the chat. If there's a topic you'd like to hear, we're currently choosing speakers for the calls based on awesome community members that we know who are passionate about presenting. So if you'd like to present, if you'd like to nominate someone, or there's a topic you'd like us to cover that I can find a speaker for, let us know in the chat. Okay, perfect. I think that was all the content from us. So Vivian, if you're ready, I'd love to hand over to you to talk about your topic for today.
Sounds good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you should just be able to take over presenting.
Yes. I will do that in 2 seconds. Feel free to tell me when you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Feel free to start sharing. Perfect.
Perfect. There we go. Awesome.
So, hello everyone. I'm Vivian. Just a disclaimer here in the start. As I mentioned, I'm in Finland. I'm in a hotel and currently waiting for room service. So if I suddenly run out, open the door, that's because the room service has come.
That is excellent. I love it.
The timing is not always good as you wanted. I've actually been waiting for it over an hour. So yeah, it's interesting. Cool. Today I wanted to talk about a new feature that has come to Custom Insights Journeys, Double Opt-in, something that people who have been working with Custom Insights have been waiting for a really long time. So as a start, my name is Vivian Voss. I am an independent consultant working primarily on Dynamics 365 Custom Insights, but also Power Platform and then other parts of Dynamics 365 CE suite. I do not touch ERP. I try to stay away from it, but unfortunately, things start also merging once in a while. I'm very passionate about community, conferences, and sharing my knowledge. You can see me speak at multiple conferences a year, sometimes multiple a month. And also I am BizApps and Microsoft 365 MVP from this year, but BizApps MVP since 2022. Here are all my social links, and you can find as well. So what is Double Opt-in? Double Opt-in goes under the category of GDPR, consent management that we all love to hate, but it's necessary. And now you can give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
The food has obviously arrived and we're all waiting eagerly to find out what it is that she's ordered.
What is it? What's on
Everyone
her plate
wants
today?
to know, Vivian.
Well, what I'm eating or what?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
It's a steak and a wine.
Yeah.
Oh, heaven.
Okay, now we're all jealous.
Always here to make people jealous. Always good. Great start. So if I'm rushing through my conversation, it's because I'm hungry. But the Double Opt-in is now a 2-step email subscription process, giving the people possibility, thank you, to able to first get the consent into the system after the person has confirmed that it's them that has actually wanted to subscribe to either your mailing list, either to an event, you name it. Now, double opt-in is not a new thing. It's not a new thing in Microsoft either. Outbound marketing had a double opt-in functionality, but once they started pushing people to real time, that was a functionality that was missing. So a lot of companies that I have been working with have really much dreaded going towards real-time marketing, mostly because double opt-in hasn't been a thing. So until now, they have had to figure out their own custom way of doing things. So it seems like some still are. But the features, what's in it? It came into public preview August 2024. People that have been following release plans can see that the next line is not that happy anymore. It will now become generally available in October 2024. Previously, it was announced September 2024. Hopefully, this will be the last date, but it's always a bit scary when Microsoft starts pushing the general availability dates. It is enabled by admins, so if you have, whether you have outbound or not installed in your system, you need to enable the double opt-in functionality in the feature switches. So if you don't see it, that is probably why, because the admin hasn't enabled it. As I mentioned, you need to be able from feature switches. It is under email communication together with many other features that you can enable as well. It's connected to compliance profile, so it's not an area on its own, and it's not connected to the forum like it was in outbound marketing. It is now connected to the compliance profile. So double opt-in is now officially a consent tool and not something that you have on the forum. If you enable it in the compliance profile, it will automatically be added to the forums that are using that compliance profile, but it won't be something you have to configure on every form that you create. One of the nice little quirks is the fact that even though you enable the feature in the feature settings, you also need to enable the feature for the forums on each compliance profile that you're working with. So once you have run through the wizard of actually enabling the feature, you need to also flip the switch. I'll also show you that in a moment. Flip the switch to actually make it work. So it's a lot of enabling that you have to do for double opt-in. And that's also some of the pitfalls that I fell under when I started using it, was the fact that I had enabled any feature switches and I couldn't figure out why it didn't show up on the forums until I remembered that I had forgotten to enable it on the compliance profile as well. It uses journeys and emails to send out. They will be created automatically once you run the wizard in the compliance profile. The emails and journeys will go live and you can edit them. You don't have to start creating your own. And everything is editable. So all the emails you can edit, you can make it your own. The same with the journey, you can add steps. And the wizard, one thing to look out for is that the wizard will fail if you don't have, I think I actually mentioned it here as well. Yeah, the double opt-in process will fail if no default brand profile is available. So if you don't have a brand profile registered in the system, well, knowing that the default brand profile is there automatically, if you have somehow or some reason deleted that, then the double opt-in process will fail for any compliance profile that you're trying to enable it on. But of course, every new functionality comes with limitations. So there are a few here as well, and there will likely come more as we keep working on it. It's available to use with non-restrictive and disabled enforcement models. So that one actually came yesterday or the day before with one of my customers, is the fact that in real-time marketing, you are now adding the compliance profiles also to emails. Before it was that the double opt-in was added to forums, so emails were really not touched, but now you have the compliance profile already on the email level. So if you want to send out emails with, hey, join, or hey, sign up for this newsletter here, the email has to be either with enforcement model non-restrictive or it disabled, because double opt-in cannot send out with restrictive because the process in itself is trying to get consent, whereas the restrictive enforcement model will expect that you have consent. So everything will fail. But actually, when you try to add the compliance profile to the email already, it will not show you the commercial if you have, or transactional if you've made them restrictive. The option would not be available in the email designer. It can't be added to forms created before double opt-in was enabled. So as I mentioned, that double opt-in will be added automatically to all the forms. You don't have to do anything about them. That means all forms created after you have enabled the feature in the feature switches. Before, the forms that were created beforehand, it's not there. And I'm saying that it can't be added to forms created before double opt-in. It's also meaning the out of the box functionality. I do believe there are so many people that are finding ways around it. There's always a way around it, but out of the box, it cannot be added to forms created before. Double opt-in can be disabled for some forms if you want to, but you cannot by default add the functionality there. It only works with landing page forms. It does not work for event registration and preference center forms. So that kind of makes sense in my book, but it only works with the forms that you create under the forms table, and you need to add at least one purpose or topic to be able to have the functionality available on the form. So, and another curious thing, and I'm also actually curious to hear people from the chat if anyone has come across some use cases about it, is the fact that if form uses purposes and topics from multiple compliance profiles, double opt-in won't work. So you can only use purposes and topics from the same compliance profile and only one compliance profile on the form to be able to use the functionality for double opt-in. So if you want to mix and match multiple compliance profiles, then double opt-in functionality will not be available to you. One of the interesting things that one of my customers asked was, how long is the email that gets sent to you? So the confirmation email, how long is the link actually valid? And what happens 3-5 months after it? So the link in confirmation email is valid for 28 days. And after that, the person either needs to do the whole process again or just leave it, because after 28 days, if the person has not confirmed, they will not be added to the system, and it will just not work for them. But now let's get to the fun part. I say fun part, and it always fails usually. But I have tried to prepare for myself for it. Fun fact here is that I created a trial, and I created the trial, or it actually automatically created it for me in Danish. And then adding a language pack doesn't actually change all the things into English. So I apologize for a mix of English and Danish, but most of the important things are in English, so it should be okay. So we are in Dynamics 365 Customer Insights Journeys. We are in the settings area. As I mentioned, to be able to use the double opt-in functionality at all, you need to enable it in the feature switches. And this will happen all the way. I probably went past it again. No, I didn't. Here, under compliance. So this feature needs to be set on to be able to use the functionality at all. So that is your first step if you want to start using double opt-in functionality. Once you have enabled it, then you will go to the compliance profiles table here. And that is where you would be start enabling the functionality or adding it to it. So I have 2 compliance profiles here. I have Western and Northern Europe. If I open up the Northern Europe, then you'll see a lot of Danish. And then the last one here is what's called double opt-in. So the double opt-in tab actually has been there since June. For a lot of people, they have seen ghosts of the functionality since June, but now it actually does something. So in order to actually start the whole process, you need to set up double opt-in, and that you need to do for every compliance profile you want to enable it on. Once you have clicked the button, then it will start all sorts of magic until it gets this page. So if you click the button here, when I say it starts all sorts of magic, is it will take, dependent of course on the system, a few minutes to up to 10 minutes. I've seen some customers, and it will go through all of these steps that it's mentioning here. If it cannot do one of the steps, it will fail, and then you can either try again after you have fixed the issue, or you're screwed, basically. If the system has come through everything and everything has been a success, then you will be able to see this picture. This picture is when you have the double opt-in. It has gone through these different steps and checks. It has created a double opt-in email for you, and it has created a journey. So I do think it's a bit funny that it will show the email very big and then journey is hidden somewhere, but that's likely we are still in the early days, so that will hopefully change. You also have the option of setting the confirmation page, either to the confirmation page with a text that you choose yourself, or you can add the confirmation page as an external page with a URL that you give here. So this will be the message that pops up once the person has clicked in the confirmation email, once they have clicked, please, that they would like to confirm the subscription. With the confirmation page and the text you choose, it will just be a white page with a little text. It's very simple. So the email that gets created automatically is also put live, as I mentioned before, and it is very basic. Confirm your preferences, text, button, company address, and it will show you the purposes or topics that the person has subscribed to. Very simple, but it says everything it's needed. You have the possibility of changing the form the email every way that the functionality and tools available to you. And then you can able to save, and it will show you, and it will save it to the specific email, and you'll be able to send out the email that you want to be sent out. The same with the journey. If you open up the journey, then it will have a very simple journey. 2 steps. It has a trigger and the email sent out, and that's all it does. So that will show up in the journey list for yourself. It will automatically get the name that it was given, and then you have the possibility of keeping an eye on it, how it's going with it. That's the whole part. Now you have enabled your double opt-in. In the theory part, I also mentioned that you have another enable button. So even though you have gone through the setting up, those emails and journeys are created, they are live, but the functionality on the forms is actually enabled first when you have enabled it here. So even though you've gone the whole process, if this one says not enabled, and it's saved, then the forums will not use double opt-in. This is a stepping stone. It was actually for me, so hopefully it will save a few frustrations from you to make sure to keep an eye on that. So I made a test with the double opt-in, and if I put this here, and what I did was I created an email. I created a regular, a marketing email, gave it a subject, has a topic, has pictures, text, and then I added a button to subscribe for news. If I edit it, I can show you quickly that in the settings, when I mentioned that you need to have the compliance profile now in emails, then it will only show these purposes that have enforcement model non-restrictive or disabled. If one of them would be restrictive, it will not show it. So that is something to keep in mind. But when you put the email live, you can send it. I have already done a few tests of my own because I don't trust the system. So this is the email I got once I sent it to myself. Very pretty. Also in dark mode. And when I click on the subscribe for news, it opens up my form that I have created for it. I've added a newsletter, and yeah, I've added a lot of fields. And then once the person fills in the information, then they get a nice notification saying, thank you for submitting the form. That's it. And then once, as this form was also connected to double opt-in, you get another email. So this is the email that where I showed you about of the form that was visible in the compliance profile. That you can see it has one thing that I'm very weirded out about is that space between, but that is likely something that can be fixed. But nothing much, just a confirmation to confirm your preferences. Click on the button, and the same kind of message comes up as it was when submitting a form, as it is basically just submitting a form. And once you have done that, then the person will be added to the consent center. You will be able to see that person or that email be added to the consent center with the mail consent. So how does it actually look like on a form? So the form that you saw a moment ago is a regular landing page form. I just took the template for a newsletter sign up and added at the newsletter. If I edit it, you'll be able to see that in the settings area, it has gotten a double opt-in button. By default, for all the forms, if you have added a purpose or a topic onto the form, it will be enabled if it's enabled in the compliance profile. If you see it's disabled and you have added the purpose, it's likely because you have missed something in the compliance profile. If it's disabled and you have enabled it, then it's a bug. But it does have a very nice info message as well, showing you that the double opt-in is enabled for the form. The consent elements come from a compliance profile which has double opt-in enabled. This is the message it shows you once it has been enabled. If it's disabled, it will tell you that you need to add a consent element to the form to be able to work, and that it will do I would kind of wish it would tell you that remember to check your subscription preferences, or but yeah, that it doesn't do. That you need to remember yourself. But you have the possibility of disabling it. So even though the compliance profile says that the double opt-in is enabled, you have the option of disabling some of the forms from double opt-in. So you don't have to use it for every form that you're sending out with that compliance profile. So that was a very quick run through of double opt-in. There's likely going to come a lot more information and a lot more people trying it out, figuring out different scenarios, how this could be used and not be used. So there, I'm looking very much forward to everyone testing it out and seeing what they figure it out, what and how they figure out the system themselves. Thank you. And that was my 20 minutes.
Thank you. That was awesome. I think that's a great example of, the products are so vast, and for someone to come on with an area of expertise and share, it's just really awesome to help educate the team. So thank you for doing that. So Cindy had put a question, but then put that answers my question. So I think we're good. Yeah, Jordan says, go and eat your dinner, which I think we all agree with. So thank you for presenting. Next up, we have Aaron. And I don't know if folks remember, but on one of the earlier calls, we were talking about potential topics. And given that we have so many individuals from very different roles, Aaron sort of volunteered himself by accident to be the first person to talk about his job. Essentially, there's so many different ways you can be involved in the Dynamics 365 world, and we've put together a template to hear, starting off with Aaron, how he operates, what his role is, benefits, drawbacks, to help folks identify other opportunities in the space if they're looking for different career opportunities. So Aaron's going to go first, and then I kind of see this going in two ways. If folks find it beneficial, we can have more people presenting, and also something that I thought could be a good opportunity, because we want to share the knowledge within the community, would to do some kind of standardized what's the word, like a form that everybody fills in, where it's data driven, so that we could share with the members of the community the different kind of jobs people have, pluses, drawbacks. So I'm going to work on that in future, but for now we're just going to start off with one example, hearing from Aaron. So Aaron, can you share your screen?
Yeah, should be going here with PowerPoint Live.
Awesome. Yeah, we can see it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks very much to Vivian. That was incredible. You nailed 20 minutes. Everyone's been on time, so hopefully I can do the same. As someone that cut their teeth in digital marketing many moons ago and actually rolled out a Dynamics marketing and events portal 7 years ago, I am still kind of aghast at how difficult it sounds. We have Canadian anti-spam legislation in Canada here, a little akin to GDPR, and yeah, it's wild. I hope it gets a little bit more seamless and straightforward, but incredible information in that presentation. And yeah, now currently very gutted that I can't enter the PPCC free ticket draw, because I really wanted to go, but I will have child number 3 arriving shortly after the conference there, so I don't think I'll be zipping down to Vegas, unfortunately. Big thanks to Lydia for engaging me on this. There's, I think, an incredible crew of MVPs and contractors and agencies and thought leaders and all kinds of stuff in this space. I'm probably a little unconventional, but happy to kick things off, and just kind of born out of that curiosity of, how does everyone make it work? How do you go to all these conferences? How do you write all these blogs? And how do you continue to deliver all your kind of client work and what have you? And despite working for the government by day, I'll just put a giant asterisk beside everything I have to say here, which is by night, I try and digitize my wife's small business, where thankfully I am in charge of scope and budget and decisions and technology and architecture and anything I want. So that is one of my incredible outlets. Anyways, on to the show. So, Aaron Kroontje, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, working for the Canadian or Canada Energy Regulator, which is the Canadian federal government. My role continues to evolve and change. I was ostensibly hired as a product manager, but we'll get into that a bit more. Ultimately, I kind of triage all the various intake requests from the broader organization of about 600 people, and a bunch of different business lines and units, from adjudication to operations. We essentially evaluate all the requests for any major energy infrastructure that either crosses borders or several provinces in Canada. And so I work with infrastructure, cybersecurity, information management, records, data engineering, etc., to try and best understand what's going on. And as best as I can, I also act as a one-man Power Platform solution army, really trying to push low code and no code across our department and the other the rest of my team. Full credit to Lydia for the slide deck. This is her design. So I've been here about 5 years at the Energy Regulator. Previously had done a bunch of digital marketing, but from a technical perspective, started as a developer as well. Last year, I took it as a big challenge to finally get certified on a bunch of things that I had been dabbling in. So I've gone down that road on the Power Platform side, and I've been client side for a few different Dynamics 365 rollouts. Just know enough to be dangerous, but not nearly at the level most of you fine folks are on the Dynamics side. So on the quantitative side, I would say my role really requires just a massive breadth of information. I rarely get to go terribly deep on something, but we have the Official Languages Act. We're a quasi-judicial organization, so we keep records. We have a bunch of energy regulatory policies, and more recently in Canada, we have things like the directive on AI decision making, etc. And so really, I try and just keep abreast of everything so that I know what red flags to bring up, what subject matter experts to consult, so that we can get presentations done for the Architecture Review Board, ultimately up to our CIO, which gives an authority to operate, which is the ability to launch your solution into production with the appropriate guardrails. Touch all kinds of projects, whether it's big custom monoliths, which are on-prem, which always used to be the case as we didn't have access to government cloud certified tools, but now there's a lot more SaaS, a lot more stuff via the cloud brokerage service in the federal government. But these days I'm pioneering just a lot of SharePoint innovation. I think that's it's amazing how much you can do when you don't have to ask for permission to turn anything on. And ultimately, a lot of my time is in meetings, consulting with different business teams. Then I tend to have a portfolio of products that I've launched that I continue to support and oversee, bug fixes, break fixes, and modifications and improvements. And then a little bit of prototyping. I have a Power Platform, a Power App rather, that I'm looking to deploy shortly, that I think will be one of the first to really show the type of enhancements you can make with that technology for 1 or 2 licenses, rather than what we used to pay 1 or 2 full-time devs a year to kind of make. So most projects are anywhere from kind of 25K to $500,000. We do have a few projects that take on several $1,000,000, and if you're familiar with government work, that's actually extremely small. We are a small department. There's no shortage of $25 million plus projects, but that's not in our department. And we tend to have stuff that gets done usually within our fiscal year. Financial value of projects is always a fun one. As a product manager in government that doesn't sell anything, we really focus on the service improvement needs, and usually things have to be revised based on policy changes, sometimes end of life or longer term enterprise architecture. No direct reports at the moment as a technical specialist. Yeah, we do have folks on our team across the country, although most are just co-located in Calgary, Alberta there. And so despite having to kind of strap on that helmet every day to slam up against bureaucracy, a huge reason why it was attractive was the work-life balance. My wife is an entrepreneur and small business owner, and definitely if any of you folks are aware of women entrepreneurs, have it incredibly challenging to begin with, and certainly those that also want to start a family, it gets compounded further. So it was a huge opportunity for us to have the balance to continue to run the businesses, have a job that pays the mortgage, and also spend a lot of time with our kids. So love that. Love that we're still hybrid. And so in terms of the role, I have an incredible manager, a lot of autonomy, built a lot of trust over my 5 years. So I do get a lot of wiggle room with our colleagues in infrastructure, and get to turn on new things, test new things, demo them for my boss and CIO, and just slowly move the tide forward. The lows definitely are just the length of time it takes for change. We get stuck in annual budgeting cycles, so very much if you have a multi-year project, you are at the whim of leadership and changing priorities and strategies, etc. And so that can be very frustrating. A risk-averse culture, obviously, not only because we serve the people of Canada, but also because we are in energy adjudication and regulation and operations and safety. So it better work. It better work good, and everything is an official record. So you don't really have a lot of wiggle room for downtime. In the future, I think I'd love to lead more of a citizen developer rollout, low code, no code space in either a federal department, or take the leap to becoming a Power Platform functional consultant. I think that's a big reason why I'm interested in this group and what it looks like for kind of everyone else, the balance, the day-to-day, the professional development. And so, yeah, that's me in a nutshell. By day, bureaucracy. By night, anything I can think of. Thanks very much for having me.
Sorry, I was just sending another poll to everyone, so I was on mute. It wouldn't let me unmute. That was awesome. I personally think it's super interesting to hear about folks' different roles, right? What their life looks like. Think everybody enjoyed hearing about that. And yeah, 66% of the folks said they'd love to hear more from folks about what their life looks like. I think, you can learn so much from someone in a short amount of time if we're focused on it. I've put another poll. Oh, this is so interesting. It's very what I find interesting about these calls is what I anticipate is not always what happens. So put in the chat first question, like, is this information helpful, or would you rather hear about product? And I hear 33% of the folks saying they'd rather they don't want this to be a super regular thing, so we can take that into consideration. And then the other question was, would you rather hear this information in the format Aaron just did, or fill in a survey? And 72% say present it on this call. So thank you for being the brave first person to talk about your life and what that looks like. I'm sort of thinking on the spot now how to approach this. Are there specific role types that folks would want to hear from that you think, oh, that's a role I've always been curious about, but I don't know much about it? If there is, please put it in the chat and we can take a look at that. Would anyone want to volunteer to talk about their life, or do they need to be voluntold like Aaron was, who then produced an awesome presentation? If you could put some messages in the chat, that would be great. And I think that's everything for this call. So thank you so much for joining. V, do you want to talk a little bit about what we'll be covering as part of the October call?
Yes, if I could unmute myself. So October is a give month at Microsoft, which is when we focus on giving to our communities. And so we wanted to focus a chunk of our call for community members who are doing a lot of work outside of just product work. So we will be highlighting 3 different organizations or group of folks who are doing work to serve the community via our products. So please join, and we are very excited about doing this call. It'll also be a chance to find ways to volunteer in the community because they're all looking for volunteers. But also, if you did want to donate, this would be a great chance to learn about organizations that also fit your own day-to-day job, because I've found volunteering for these organizations to be very fulfilling. So yeah, excited about October call. So hopefully we'll see you all there.
Thanks, V. So just to be clear, it's non-profit work in the Dynamics 365 space. So we'll hear from some awesome biz apps related non-profits. And as V said, yeah, go ahead.
A goal is to diversify this industry, and the way to do it is make sure this is a career path that communities that are underserved will also have a way to get in. Otherwise, there are communities that are out there that need support, and we have people who use this tool to make it easy for them. I don't want to give away too much because I do want the organizations to get a chance, but excited to see you all there.
Perfect. Thank you. Great. Thanks everybody for joining. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next month for some more awesome Dynamics 365 community content. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.